Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Philip with Thrifty PS Gamer Reviews. We are doing Thoughts with Thrifty. I got my buddy Nelson here. He is going to be joining us. He is another gaming nerd, and he probably plays more than I do. And actually, you know what? I know he plays more than I do. So, I don't really know how this works at any given point in time. And I guess I'm supposed to let you introduce yourself now. Nelson, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on? I play video games all day, like it's a fucking career.
How much you get
um,
paid for that?
Nothing. They cost money. It's terrible.
It's a
It's a
shitty
terrible,
business
terrible
model.
job. I know. I'm worse than Game Pass.
That's not the topic tonight, sir. That's uh do you what were we just talking about? What game are you playing?
Legend of Dragoon. I just finished it.
Man,
I'm
that is
watching the
awesome.
ending credits now. 118 hours, I think I got in this or something. It's wild.
That's Now, does that game like allow you to like track like over 99 hours?
Oh yeah.
That's
I looked at it
awesome.
earlier. It was 121.
That's so cool. I know you and I've talked before that Final Fantasy doesn't allow that. Like on
The
their older
seven,
titles.
I'm talking the older one. I never replayed it on the digital version. I don't know if they ever fixed that. I'm talking about the disc. Like
Yeah,
when
man.
I actually played it on the PS1, because I had probably 800 hours. I don't know, on one
That's
playthrough.
that's insane.
I had everything though. I had everything. Like I was obsessed with that game. I'm like, I had the strategy guide, and I'm like, I'm not stopping this bitch until I got Knights of the Round, W item, W everything, 4 times cut. Like I walked into that boss battle and just bitch slapped him around like, fuck out of here! Like 2 attacks, it's over. W summoning Knights of the Round, Omni Slash, Endgame. You know what I mean?
Man, over here dropping F bombs on my stream, gonna
Oh,
get me
sorry.
demonetized. I'm not
You're not
monetized.
even monetized.
Oh no. Watch this be the video that tries to blow up though. Watch that. Oh, good lord. So I don't know if you have your phone up watching the stream or not, but I absolutely have no idea where the hell I'm going.
um, what
So
are you
I
playing
played
again?
Valkyrie Elite. Oh, never mind, I found it. I played the demo a while back and gave like a brief thoughts video on the demo, and then I didn't buy it because God of War was coming out, and so I finally purchased it, got it on sale, used my PlayStation Store credits from just playing games. They reward us for that crap, um, and so I
Oh,
played.
Valkyrie Elysium. Yeah, I finished that.
Yeah, have you finished it?
Yeah, I finished it the week it came out.
I
I bought it day one.
Man, I I did not. I should have, but I didn't.
It was good. It was really good. And a lot of Square games I don't like as much as I used to, but
Can I like so one of the things that frustrates me is it looks like the character models and the combat were done by one team and the like backgrounds and like wall surface textures were done by a complete other team. Like
possibly.
it just feels like the two art styles don't, because she looks clean. Like she looks clean, her drawings are crisp, everything looks
Yo, the
good.
combat in that game is really good and smooth too. It's just the story was kind of lacking. It was kind of short. There wasn't a whole lot of substance outside of the combat, but the combat was phenomenal. I loved it. I had a great time with it.
It almost to me feels like just from playing the demo and now playing a little bit, and I've just started the game, but it feels very much like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a Diablo-esque story type, where you're only going back to that hub. Its only purpose is to get you to the next thing, right? It's just enough to push you to the next reason why you have to go explore another area. Right? Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like games like Diablo, games like Torchlight, Victor Vron, those type of games, or even the game I just did a review on, Bastion, those type of games only have just enough story to make you go back in and try another level or try another mission. And that's it. They don't need a big deep lore because you're not playing them for that.
Yeah. Well, that game's not terribly long either, and I went and replayed some, and I still beat it in like 20 hours, I think.
Are you
And I
serious?
replayed a lot of, I replayed a lot of levels to get my level up and stuff too. You could probably beat it in about 14.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Alright, so
That gives it more replay value to me to
just
I have that are, yeah, like, well, I finished almost all my games. I mean, did I buy day one? I should say, like, if I buy something on sale for $10, I'm buying it because it's on sale for $10, and I put it on page 837 of my backlog. But that's you think I'm joking, but there's games from Nintendo I want to go back and play. You know what I mean? Like, hey, the way gaming's going, I might just stop buying new games in the next 10 years, which is fine because I got enough to play till I'm dead, and like several generations after that.
so hey, we have a second person watching. Heck yeah, so I'm one and
I'm
this
chasing
person's
everyone
two.
away. No, it's honestly late though.
It is, but dude, I've put in 50 hours this week already. I'm exhausted. I'm using this as just a wind down. And I've had thoughts that I've been wanting to get out lately. And so doing a little stream like this every once in a while, thoughts with Thrifty, it sounds good. Get my thoughts out and feel
Are you off
happier.
tomorrow for Easter or what?
No, I'm actually the primary on call on Sunday.
Oh my goodness. Well, people aren't gonna call unless it's seriously like, I don't remember where you live, but people probably ain't gonna even call on Easter unless their house. You're not a firefighter, so
Right.
I was gonna say unless their house is on fire, but that's not your problem.
Nope, mine would be if it feels like it's on fire and it can't cool down. That's-
That's true. Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
man,
pretty rare, I would say.
it's been it's been very interesting this week because like we just got out of the winter season ish, and so I started doing HVAC when it was heating season. So I can do heaters like the back of my hand. Like those things, I got you. But when you start throwing in like heating and cooling, I'm like, man, I've done the classes. I understand this, but it feels like
Yeah, there's
Greek.
a whole different thing when you tear something apart 100 times over. You know it, like, and you've seen a lot of different models and you figured it out. It's no sweat, but when you're tearing it, like, I don't know nothing about this model. This is, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of just like that, and I'll
It's the
be
same with
honest.
machining, because if you throw me a machine I never ran before, yeah, I know how to do it, but I'm not sure on the controls. You know what I mean? If I'm running parts I never ran before, I don't know right off rip what I'm looking for different things. You know, I don't know.
Mine's the electrical side of it, like the electrical diagramming side. That stuff can go somewhere. I hate it. Now I'm getting better at it, and every day, every call, I'm learning more and more because my team lead and my direct boss and the team that we have are phenomenal people. Like, and I don't think any of them like watch my channel at all, so I'm not trying to like kiss ass. Like, we have a really good solid structure at my work. It's awesome. But let's actually get into the topic. So I'm going to pause this real quick because I want to pull back up my notes. And I'm actually going to start with the Q-Lite because I think that one is going to be more, it's going to be more of a cluster
I might
than,
just I might just reply with belches and grunts. Like,
okay. So I got three things, okay? Or four things on this. The first one, so Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming, I want to give him the credit. He broke this and said that he has a really good source saying, hey, this is what Sony's working on. And he listed some of the features and some of the stuff like that. And I'll be completely honest with you. If those are the only features, this thing's going to have a little bit of problems. But here's some things that it needs. So it came out and saying it's going to be remote play capable. Well, God, I hope so. It's a PlayStation device. It better be. Like that
your tablet is PlayStation remote play compatible.
Right. They need to add cloud. They have to. And if we think about it a little bit, there was a rumor last year that they were upgrading their server blades from the old from PS3 to PS5 server blades, right? Like they were working on that. If I'm not mistaken, it happened that broke like August, September of last year. And they were like, hey, Sony it would make sense if they're doing this to try to be able to get PS3 games to be able to be downloadable and emulated and all that. And we see that they've been, recently even, there have been rumors that they're still working on that and working with the emulator designers on how to make it work with the PS5 architecture. So, like, I'm here for it. I think that would be awesome. Church, I am playing Valkyrie Elysium. And so I think that would work well as a cloud device and as a, I just came from there, as a remote play device. Backwards
compatible? Okay.
Because then, through cloud, you could add your PS3 games, you could play all your downloadable content, you could do all of that through cloud. And yes, cloud is kind of like remote play, but not, because I think with cloud, the big thing is you can actually download it to the device, right? I think that's part of what the cloud is. Like, you can stream it and you can download it to the device, which...
Nah, you can't.
Can you not? Is it just
no,
like the Steam Deck
you're
is
streaming. You're streaming like Netflix.
Huh.
No, the Steam Deck is native as well, but that's not streaming. That's not cloud. That's not a cloud device. It just has that option as well.
Well, holy crap! Then
you just download it from your Steam library. Very, very different.
Okay. Then if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead and combine two of the points that I had. It needs to have a SSD built into it to be able to download games directly to that system. It can be a very small SSD to help with heat displacement and all that. Like, maybe you do remote play for all your other stuff, or cloud gaming for all your other stuff, and then you can take like 2 games with you, right? Maybe it's only like a 512 or whatever. But it needs to have that SSD, and I think they would have to already put one in to give it like better speed and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
I don't think you're going to be able to play natively PS5 games on it, period, and keep it under $700.
I mean, that's
you know how incapable a Steam Deck is? Like, it's the power of a PS4. Yes, it has you get the one with an SSD and stuff like that. It's like $500 or $600.
What's up, Ray Rock?
That's not happening. That's not happening.
I know you can't see the chat unless you have YouTube pulled up, but Ray Rock said hey to you.
Oh, what's up?
So,
I was actually going to the bathroom. That's why I was muted.
Oh.
I told you I had to go. I did an hour-long boss fight.
Aw, and it wasn't even an Elden Ring game. I'm proud of you.
Oh, an Elden Ring game would have been over quick because I would have died.
Yeah, I hate that crap.
I'm shitting on myself.
So also, here's the deal. If it's only a remote play device and not even cloud included, right? Like, if it's only remote play, which needs the PS5 turned on, needs it in standby mode, you use your PS5, use your own home internet. If it's just remote play with a DualSense, at that point it's a DualSense with a screen, right? If it's just that, it needs to be max of $249. max. 200
Yeah, and
would
that's
be the
not gonna
price.
happen either. Because look at G Cloud. Look at G Cloud. It's a piece of crap, and that's 350. I think they just lowered it down to 300.
Yeah, but I mean,
All that it is, it doesn't have native apps or any. It don't even have native apps. It's literally streaming only. You know what G Cloud is, right?
but that's
The
fine.
Xbox device.
Yeah, who? It's Xbox.
And
Who
nobody's
cares?
buying it. I mean, yeah, but I know. But like Jez showed the G Cloud line, and it didn't shock me that that guy. They paid that guy to stand there, and nobody looked at him. He was like the guy with the kid with leprosy.
But so here's
He's
the
like,
deal.
look at the G Cloud line.
I would honestly be okay if it was cloud and remote play, like cloud.
But why
being...
wouldn't you just use your phone?
No,
Just
because
use a tablet. Use your kid's
no,
tablet.
listen,
You know what I
listen,
mean?
because the phone can't do cloud for PlayStation. It does remote play, which uses the PS5 that uses your home internet. Cloud would allow it to be literally played anywhere you have Wi-Fi. So you could go to your local Starbucks, which don't drink their coffee. It's terrible coffee. They overburn their beans. Find a local coffee house to roast their own coffee. Anyways, that's my coffee spiel. I don't sell coffee. I'm not any of the other guys on YouTube that sell coffee. But like, seriously, you can go to your local coffee shop, use their Wi-Fi, and you can play via cloud that doesn't have to have a PS5. So it's its own standalone gaming device. Okay? I think that would help way more. And then if it's remote play and cloud like a streaming device, I'd say $299. That would be the price point that I would want. Now Sony, knowing them, they would go $399, but I think you would have to offer some sort of physical gaming ability or of the ability to download games and play them on it. Because, I was listening to somebody earlier, and 1080p at 60 frames per second doesn't look awful on a small screen, right?
You can't get that on a Steam Deck. It only displays like 860.
Are you... Okay, so...
No, I'm not kidding.
Wait, okay,
and
hang on, no.
That's $500-600.
I just realized that a Steam Deck almost has the same resolution as a Series S. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Freaking crap. Anyways.
Well, so does a Switch, but...
This is not an Xbox hate stream, I promise at all. I literally, all my notes say are Square Purchase and Q-Lite, and I have different points for those. I'm not trying to hate on Xbox, okay? I promise. It's not a conspiracy. So, jeez. So, let's get back into this. Oh crap, how do I dodge? I forgot. There we go. It needs to have some sort of... It needs to be something more than just remote play. Now, if they find a way, let's say they do something interesting and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and it's going to be remote play, it's going to have a lot of similarity between the console and the handheld, so it's going to offer low latency, better connection, better whatever. If they can optimize it to where it doesn't play like you're playing remote play on a tablet or on a phone, then I think that they can then do the $249 price tag that I was talking about, and that to me would make a little bit more sense, right? That to me would say, okay, so now I'm not going to deal with a ton of lag because I'm not on this, I'm not using, I'm not having to communicate through a phone app that has other things in the background drawing it down. I have a dedicated line directly to my remote play. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some sort of hook, some sort of...
you know what would be a hook that they could probably still keep it around $300? You can download, because it would have a mechanical hard drive, but you can download and play whatever can fit on your stuff for PS4 or PS1 or PS2.
So when you said that, my first initial thought was make all stores available. The PS3, the PS4, and the
The storm.
PS5, and oh no, the PS3 and the
PS5 will not be able
PS4.
to run those games.
I
Not,
mean,
at least they'd be so dumbed down that I don't. Mm-mm.
I mean, they already make a version that would work. I mean, they make the Series S. Just put that version of games on there, and you'll be fine. And I'm not even
Yeah, but
joking.
now you gotta put it. You're not in. Now you gotta
Like,
put that down, and it ain't gonna have the RAM to be able to play it natively.
oh, now that's true. Because for all intents and purposes, the freaking Series S does have a decent RAM on it.
The Series S has terrible RAM.
I thought it had like 8 gig RAM or something.
It has 10, but the
10.
One X had 12.
God, that console is so shit.
I mean, hey, to run most of these PlayStation games on PC, you need 32 minimum.
Oh, what did I miss in the chat? Hang on. Church Keys, I think it's for a couple reasons. Remote play has been a feature since PS3 and totally underused. I absolutely agree with that. Next, since all of Sony's handhelds have been horribly hacked, they are relying on the PS5. Yeah.
No, I think it's they don't to actually make a portable work. You have to supply it with new types of games, or just have a big library or something. But trying to support VR, trying to support PS5, trying to make service games, and then trying to make handheld exclusives, there's not enough. They can't afford that. I mean,
yeah,
just gonna keep it a buck.
I'll say this though, with live service games, the upfront cost, I think is, how do I say this? I think a lot of their second tier studios are working in conjunction on some of those live service titles to help not put the financial burden so much on, hey, this needs to be a hit, because we all know live service titles, PC ports, please stop. Stop, church. We're just not. we're not. There's a reason I'm not live streaming through a PC right now. I don't have one. Like, I don't use computers. That's not true. I have a laptop from like 5 years ago that runs like a laptop from 5 years ago. And I have my desktop that literally won't even support Discord. Like, it plays Diablo 1 and that's it. So, like, that's its only function. But PC ports, Jesus. I understand that they're trying to use the structure and the backbone of the PS5, but if that's the case, you're not selling a handheld. You are selling a remote play device. And those are different. A handheld gives you actual gaming on the go.
Yeah, so when you're driving through tunnels, you're not, hey, what the hell was that? What happened to my game?
Right, exactly. Like,
You hit a dead spot for 20 miles and you're staring at a blank screen.
I'm still cracking up
I'm
about
just
the
saying.
PC port. Like, but yeah, like my son, one of the things my wife absolutely loves about the Switch that we got
I
him
lose
for Christmas.
GPS sometimes because I can't get internet. The lady's like, no service, blah.
So, my wife took my kids to Tennessee, okay, to visit their aunt and uncle. And she was like, Elliot's, that's my son's name. Elliot's wanting to play his Switch, but we don't have internet in the car. Can I tether to it? How do I do that? I said, no, honey. You can just let him play it. Like, the game is there. It's his. He can play it. And she's like...
See, the thing that sucks is, though, I do have to throw out a mobile hotspot just for my second kid, because I buy all the games digital, and I prefer to buy them physical on Nintendo. But what happens with kids is, if one's playing one thing, I want to play that game. Well, I'm not buying a second game, so you're game sharing. So, what do? This is what we do. I mean, I put on my mobile hotspot or whatever, so if he wants to switch games, he can switch games, and if we don't have service, Then you're playing what game you have until we have service.
But she was so happy about that because, and she's only known like the PlayStation ecosystem because I'm not a bitch, and she was like, that is the best thing I've ever heard, that you can play these games without having to be online. I was like, yeah, honey, knock it out. Let him have as much time as he wants. He'll be quiet the whole trip. And,
no, that thing gonna be dead by the whole trip. I've ran wires from the cigarette lighter all the way to the back seat before because like, they started fighting over the only one that had charge on it. Like, I'll run the cord all the way to the back seat. I don't want to hear your voice anymore.
Be quiet.
That's what they are. I call them Nintendo shut-up devices.
And church, yes, I did procreate twice actually. And so yeah, I got 2 trophies, my guy. And Ray Rock, about your Yankees. Yeah, let's talk about that actually. We're gonna add a third topic to this. It's gonna be the New York freaking Yankees. And no, it wasn't because the Texas Rangers couldn't make trade deadlines and blah blah blah. Y'all bought A-Rod, Teixeira, Soriano. Y'all bought our bats from us because they didn't want to pay for them. It had nothing to do with any bullcrap like that. Y'all bought our bats. Now, I will say this, that the Texas Rangers pitching has always been a disaster. We went to the World Series 2 years back-to-back and got our rear ends kicked 2 years back-to-back. And so, yeah, I can agree with you there. The Rangers don't know how to spend money. That's why when they got that one dude who's way past his prime this year, I was like, holy crap, at least they're learning to pay for pitching. I don't remember who it was. But,
defense wins championships. I don't care what anybody says.
Bro, pitching. I remember when we had Hamilton on our team, and dude was just jacking him out of the park because he was on steroids.
You know who's going to win? The best, especially the best 3 starting pitchers on a team is going to win the World Series 75% of the time.
Oh, no doubt. But, like, anyway.
Even if your 4th guy's not that good, but you got 3 aces, like, what was that one year? The Braves had, like, Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine and someone else. Yeah, Smoltz, like.
And Avery.
Okay, you might win Game 4, but we only got to win 1 more, and you got Maddux coming up. Game 5!
Oh, and guess what? If Maddux is tired, nah, we got you. You're fine. We're just gonna hit you with Avery or Glavine. Like what? And
we'll split up the other 2 guys in 3 half games, and
then McGriff and Chipper Jones are gonna knock it out of the park on you. But yeah, anyways, that was my spiel about the Rangers because I'm a Rangers fan because I like depression. So
I'm from Minnesota. I take more L's than Xbox than even.
So no doubt. So hey, they made a movie about how bad your team was. So
a movie? Which one? Which team? You gotta be more specific. I'm from Minnesota. They all suck.
It's the Twins. It's always the Twins.
Well, they don't always suck. They're the only ones who've won championship in this goddamn state.
Listen, they almost sold the franchise a few years back because they were losing so much, okay? Like, just stop.
Yeah, we had a couple bad years. Yeah. The thing about the Twins is they're good enough to win in the playoffs. Or not win in the playoffs. They're good enough to make the playoffs, but winning in the playoffs. We're like 0-19 in the playoffs, like last decade.
0-19
yeah, that's our record. 0-19. Yeah, that's our record in the playoffs. We haven't won a game in the playoffs in like 10 or 12 years.
So you're the Dallas Cowboys of the...
Yes, you got it. Yeah.
So...
Dude, when I was in high school, the Twins made the playoffs like 5 out of the 6 years. We didn't win a fucking game.
That's great. So...
And we won our division every time.
Back to the Q-Lite. The last thing I'm going to say about it is I think it's an extremely risky move by them. I think that with VR2... Like everything
I don't know what they have to invest in that. Probably not a lot, but there's going to be no return on investment. So if they spent $100 million on whatever, they're probably not going to make that back.
I don't think they need to spend that much. Like production cost is what's going to be the main thing. Like that's it. Like you take a PS5 controller, you cut it in half.
You have the components already.
Right. You cut the damn thing in half and call. I'm getting my ass kicked here. Would you stop blocking me? What a fucker. Oh, I should start using my heavy attack to break armor. That'd be a smart idea. Anyways, so I just think it's risky. I think they have too many things going on right now, and I don't think it's risky from a financial sense. I think it's risky from a support sense. Because I don't think they're going to have to spend much money on it if it's just a remote play device. And
But nobody wants it.
I mean, I wouldn't say nobody wants it. Because here's the deal.
I'd say almost nobody wants it.
No. I don't want it for $300. And I don't want it if it's going to operate just like my phone. Okay? But, like I said earlier, if they give us some sort of like, hey, it's going to be streamlined, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, then heck yes, I will take that in a heartbeat. Because I love playing JRPGs, indie titles, Chained Echoes. I loved playing that game remote play. It felt like it felt right. Like, certain games just feel right on a remote play setup.
Turn-based works well.
Yes. And I love turn-based. And let's talk about this, because PlayStation fans, a lot of PlayStation gamers are turn-based fans. That's why turn-based games do pretty decent on the PlayStation. Like, they've been known for that since Square Enix made it successful with Final Fantasy VII. Like, you can't think of PlayStation without thinking JRPGs and story-driven titles. Those are the first two things that pop into my head when I think of PlayStation. And so...
Dude, I'm so nice. I put up the credits for this game so Xbox fans can see what they look like.
You're so thoughtful.
I know. Figure they were like, what the hell are those? Those are called credits.
Church, you play Ubisoft games. Don't tell us turn-based games suck, please.
Yes, or Ubisoft trash.
You play Far Cry 5 and like... Never mind. I can't finish that. Patrick Swayze hit another guy.
Oh, Ron White. One of those guys that watch Roadhouse and beat off. Oh, Patrick Swayze's hitting another guy. I have that CD somewhere. I used to listen to it in the car all the time.
Well, we just lost 3 viewers. That's awesome.
Really?
Yes. It went from 7 to 4.
Well, that's probably my fault.
Ubisoft equals open world, not turn-based. Also, you're not from England or Britain or anywhere over there that says bruv. What are you doing? Church is over here finishing all of his sentences with bruv. Like, brother? Dude, come on, man. But it's a risky move in the sense that I don't think that they can spread their development teams that far in trying to optimize them even better to run on remote play. Oh, holy crap, there was one more. You're dead now. Dude.
Man, Cloud is so many years from being anything like... I can see spending a little bit of money here and there to upgrade things or whatever, but there's just not...
But that's what
not
you're not
enough out there.
It's not even fully cloud. You still need the PS5 in order to play it. Like, it's not a cloud game. It's not a cloud gaming device. They're not competing with Steam Deck. It's literally supposed to be, according to the leak, just a remote play device. All it does is hooks up, turns on, and...
Which is a tablet! And I can get a tablet for $100!
Okay,
yes!
So listen, no. You're wrong
yes.
in that, because a tablet has so many other things running in the background that do not allow for proper connections and sync to the PlayStation 5. So you get lag, you get bad connections, you get incoming text messages, phone calls, notifications, and every time I get one when I'm on my phone with remote play, it pauses the game, and every time I go back in, it has to restabilize that connection. So, I mean, there is a way to do it to where I don't think they're just trying to give us another device with the DualSense because they have DualSense parts left over. I don't know. But, like, which honestly is not
Well,
a bad
then use them for more DualSense. Come on now.
Listen.
Let's think about this.
Can we just say that PlayStation might do the games better, and actually PlayStation does do the games better, but Xbox does like the clothing, the marketing, they do all that shit. Like, I can't tell you how much I would enjoy being able to get some of the customizable stuff like Xbox does. But, you know, if my trade-off is customizable stuff or video games, I'm gonna take the video games every time. You know what I mean?
I'm ordering my I'm ordering my kid a spring jacket because they lost theirs. I don't know where the other one went. We got them both new spring jackets last year, and I think the smaller one got lost. So I'm upgrading the little one who grew a little bit to the older sons because we only had them for like a few months before we had to switch to winter jackets.
Okay. I'm from the South. What in the actual heck is a spring jacket?
It's probably a jacket that you guys wear when you go out. When we go out in the winter, we got jackets to, like, you know, or a blanket.
Gotcha. Like, so is it almost like a windbreaker, almost?
Yeah, kind of like a rain jacket. It's got a little bit of cloth in it, but they're really lightweight.
Okay.
It's not a big, heavy coat that you're going... Sorry, excuse me. It's like negative 10 degrees outside. That ain't gonna do nothing. It's like basically wearing a sweater.
All right, spring jackets are a thing. Got it.
Yeah. Well, when you live in Minnesota, you don't want to be wearing a coat that's designed to keep you warm in negative degree weather when it's 45 degrees outside. You're gonna sweat.
That's true. Yeah, no.
You're gonna sweat like Phil Spencer at E3.
Phil Spencer. Aw, moment of silence for E3. I think it's been mismanaged, but dang it, I wish they would have had it. I have so many good memories of E3. So many good, like, Square Enix titles have been, like, announced at E3. And, man, I think if they didn't try to charge so much for booths, or tried to make it more...
Do you know how much Sony spent just for the floor space in their time last time they went?
Wasn't it like $1 million?
Keep going.
No. I
just
mean, like... Just the space was
no,
$1 million,
you're not
wasn't
even.
It?
No, you're way off.
Oh.
Maybe if they rented it for like an hour.
Oh. How do you know this?
I read a report on it that was out during their last E3.
Was it from
why they were thinking about? Yeah, I read it years ago, but yeah.
It was from sources.
It was like 3 years ago. It's when they were still going to E3. Because they do get primetime slots, so they probably play it more than anyone. But
my dude's sitting here quoting sources. I'm sorry.
I don't remember what article it was. I read it back in like 2019. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
Everything. Did you not know that? If you can't quote sources, then it never actually happened, and you're full of shit.
Okay. Well. Shit. It was 68 million though.
68 million?
Yep.
That's a video game.
That includes their time slot too, because they had a Sunday primetime slot. If you had a little kiosk there, and like you were at like 10 o'clock in the morning, probably don't cost a whole lot, but
that's freaking sick. So what they need to do is go back to what I remember it for, which was the personal convention style, right? Where people just walking around like an expo center convention. I think they need to go back to grassroots. Which everyone's saying that that's the direction that they were going to take it in this next year, because whatever the hell their name is, the one who runs all these conventions, has said that they're going to like try to reformat it next year, and they need to. But anyways, speaking of Square, because we weren't really speaking of them at all, but I needed a damn segue, and there it is. So,
that doesn't include their employees, because they have to fly employees out there and stuff like that, pay for their hotel rooms, their meals, all that kind of stuff.
So, do you play Squaresoft titles? Or, Square Enix titles?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Uh,
don't play. I don't play as many. Like I'm not into them. Like SquareSoft was my favorite developer for like a long time. Now it's like I like 50-50. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get Octopath Traveler 2, but I don't need a day one. You know what I mean? Like
so
they
let me
always
ask you
tend to
this:
drop. If there's
where
4 games that I want, they always seem to drop all of them in like a 6-month span, and I'm not buying 5 Square Enix games to play one after the long as shit. So
so what game did it for you? And when I say that, what game took you from buying everything they produced to not? Because I know my game.
I don't know. I didn't play a whole lot of Japanese games in the PS3 era as it was.
Okay. So mine was right after the merger happened with Enix, okay?
Yeah, they
And
kind of went to shit.
they released, there were like 10 games that were coming out within like a 3-year period, and I'll tell you the one that did it for me. Sir, Scarlet Nexus is made by Bandai Namco. Just Church Keys just listed 3 games, and I don't really know what he was referring to, but one of them was by Bandai Namco. And so the game that did it for me
Nier
was
Automata wasn't for them either.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. That was made by Well,
It was published by
oh,
Square
published by
Enix.
them. It wasn't made by them. It was
No,
published.
it was made by Platinum.
It was, yeah, exactly.
But the original Nier, not Nier Automata, not Nier whatever the other one is, the original Nier. That game, I bought it because it had this beautiful like landscaping work, and everything looked so clean and crisp, and it was Square, and it was one of Square Enix's first titles together, and I was riding high off of Final Fantasy X, and I was like, man, this studio can't do nothing wrong. And then I played that heaping pile of garbage, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what it looks like with Enix's influence in Square. Okay, well that sucks. And so after that, I took kind of a break, and then they gave us 10-2, and I played that, beat it, enjoyed the combat system of it. Everything else about the game was really weird and just off. Played 13 for about 2 hours, and I hated that shit. And then I played Lightning Returns. And then from there I played 15, I'm going to play 16, I played 7 Remake, and all that. But like, I don't just buy every Square Enix game anymore. I don't... Back in the day, if it said Squaresoft on it, I was getting it. Now, somebody had asked me if I ever played Vagrant Story. I don't know if that was you or if that was...
Yeah, it was me.
It was you. That is one game
It was
that
me.
Never played. And
Buy it! Play it! It's fantastic. I'm actually waiting for that to come out. And if I didn't already game share, I'd let you game share it.
Yeah,
I want it to get re-released on the PlayStation Plus Premium so I can claim that bitch. Because I want to play it again, but I don't want to turn on my PS3 because the shit moves like pond water.
It probably sounds like a waterfall, though. Just loud as shit.
It doesn't. I don't hear nothing, but the damn thing is slower than an Xbox One UI.
That's nuts.
Slow.
Man. Like, so Square Enix is... It's a studio that I have been playing since this. Been playing their games since the Super Nintendo.
I've been playing since Final Fantasy.
See, I'm gonna buy the collection. Probably in May. I'll probably get
That was the
for my
first
birthday.
Square game I ever played was Final Fantasy.
And
I liked Final Fantasy and I didn't like Zelda. Don't tell anyone and don't grill me in the chat. I don't care.
Okay, so the original Zelda I was not a huge fan.
I haven't liked any of them.
I've
never
played
finished
the crap
any of
out
them.
of it, but I've recently have tried to play it, and it just is not the same. The level of nostalgia, I think, is what like did it for me, but it's not a good Zelda game. Now, granted, it was on the Super Nintendo, or it was on the regular Nintendo, but like it just wasn't good. Like it's not. as fond as I remember it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have lots of games like that. I tried playing Excite Bike and I'm like, this sucks.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So, like, you have these titles that I've been playing. I played Chrono Trigger. I played Chrono Cross. I've played
Xenogears, Parasite Eve.
Xenogears, Parasite Eve. Like, if it had Squaresoft on the logo, I was grabbing the damn thing. And then I fell off because, well, their quality fell off. So, that's actually going to bring me to my first topic about why
I didn't play anything from Square until midway, probably through the PlayStation 4 since Final Fantasy 12.
Ooh, 12 was good.
That was the last Final Fantasy I played until the remake came out.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. 13 wasn't that good.
No,
and 15
I didn't.
Died at the story.
I wasn't playing Boy Band. Oh, no.
The characters were actually really... The side characters. Noctis was kind of an aloof... Not... Yeah, it was bad. It's like they took Squall and Cloud and made a child, and that's what Noctis was. But Prompto was...
Two men can't have babies.
Two men can't have babies. No, they can't. So that brings me to my first topic, though. Or first thing about the Square... Why I think Square Enix needs to be purchased by Sony. And I'm going to do this from the Square Enix side, and then I'm going to do it a little bit from the Sony side. So, my first thing is stability. I cannot tell you how many times Square Enix is in trouble, Square Enix is in disaster, Square Enix is in financial disarray, Square Enix is this and that, and then they release a Final Fantasy
Dude, if it
title.
wasn't for Final Fantasy, they'd be done, son.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if it wasn't for a Final Fantasy title and Kingdom Hearts, So, back when Final Fantasy 15 released, Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts, and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, or Final Fantasy 7 Remake, sorry, all released within 12 months of each other, if I'm not mistaken. And if they wouldn't have had success on those three titles, they would have been done. Final Fantasy 15 literally saved Square Enix. And so...
Yeah, it gave them the money to make 14, add on to 14 stuff. 14 is what made them the most money.
It's made them the most money in the long run, but it's what pays for their running costs, is what I want to say. But, like, it doesn't...
15 sold like 15 million, and that game wasn't even good, so...
So, Final Fantasy 15 actually sold about 10 million as of last year. Kingdom Hearts 3 sold 6.7 million, which was 0.7 million more than the original sold. And then the most recent numbers we have on Final Fantasy 7 Remake are 5 to 8 million. So, like, those three titles... Oh, and let's clarify. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, 3.5 million of those were done in the first 3 days. So
this is the remake?
The remake, 3.5 million.
How many did it sell total? I didn't know that though. It was a lot. I was one of them.
It's 5 to 8 is what the number is. Because as of 2020 is the most recent reporting on it.
Really.
No, I think it did. I think the second one's gonna make the money. I think this one broke even. But you have... You're doing all this stuff, and you only have your heavy hitters, your tent poles, right? And then they get into the HD 2D space. So now you have great fan base for the HD 2D, but those games are not for everybody, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't play them. Your main tent poles take so damn long for you to develop and get out because you need them to be perfect. And then it's like every other game that y'all make that is from your Japan side, which now that's the only side they have, is like 70-30, and the 30% is the hit and the 70% is the miss. Like, they need stability. And I think having a parent company like PlayStation be able to sit there and say, hey, listen, we don't need to release 20 games over the next 12 months.
No, that's their problem, dude. They're using all their resources to spit out as many games as humanly possible instead of concentrating on making a couple good games. Like,
Right.
it's crazy. Like,
but they have like 5 development studios, I believe. And so, like, sure, 5 games every couple years. Like, if you want your studios, like, you know, Final Fantasy comes out once every 5 years. Kingdom Hearts once every 5 years. And, like, then you do your remakes once every 3 years. And if you do that, those other 2 studios, or 3 studios, can be focused on your indie titles or your HD 2D or, you know, all the stuff that you're releasing right now. Or here's a novel idea: you can just go ahead and stop having to worry about releasing so many titles to try to hit a market or hit sales numbers or all that, because you now have the stability of a parent company like PlayStation, who has a great dedicated fan base, being able to sit there and go, hey, listen, we need to pare this back. You're spreading yourself too thin. Let's narrow this down a bit. Right? Like, you can do that. And you can do that when your only revenue stream isn't just coming from your games. Like, understand that when these studios come underneath PlayStation Studios banner, you're drawing from a larger pot than if it was just Insomniac on their own or Guerrilla on their own, right? You have a larger pot of money and a larger support network backing you. Like, they were talking about how, like, all the PlayStation studios, like, communicate back and forth with each other on, like, titles, and the devs will talk to each other and go, hey, I saw that you're doing this in a game, or somebody mentioned that y'all have kind of this thing down, this mechanic down that you're trying to do. We're trying to implement something similar. How does that work? And, like, think about how much more of a streamlined process it's made Sony studios. Like, the studios spit games out like freaking crazy. And so that would bring amazing stability to a company that's very, like, up and down, right? Like, I'm tired of hearing about how Square Enix might go bankrupt. I just am. Like, yes, they're probably going to go bankrupt if they don't get bought by somebody, probably Sony. Like, it's because they're going to have a great year this year, or a great 12 months, rather. I think they're going to cap off those 12 months with Kingdom Hearts 4, and then we'll be back to waiting another 3 years for another game, right? And so they need that stability. Next, realistic expectations. I think that the way Sony handles their development studios not their development studios, just their studios, the way they handle their devs, I think they give them that leeway to have realistic expectations put on them. So, like, Forspoken. Let's talk about the fact that Forspoken probably needed another couple months in the blender. Like, to fix, or to get the shadows in there, to get the textures right, to do better, right? But they had to get it out. They had to release it because they were bleeding money on that title. They had to release it. Well, when you have a company like...
Yeah, it had already been delayed so many times, like...
Right. But when you have a company like Sony that's able to sit there and go, hey, listen, no, this game ain't ready yet, and that's okay. We're fine.
You know, the director of the Days Gone 2, because they delayed the game like twice or whatever, Sony never pressured him to release it. The studio head said, I did not want to ask them a third time for more time.
Right. Like, so it was released that, once again by Tom Henderson, or not Tom Henderson, Jeff Grubb, that they had a...
Oh, I don't listen to him.
He's right about 70% of the time.
No, he's right about... When he gets his information from someone else, he's right.
No.
I mean, like, when someone, like, when, I'm serious. Anytime he says something that's right, you go back and look. It's like, well, yeah, he read this guy's stuff from 3 hours ago. Seriously, I'm not joking. It's not funny.
Anyways,
It drives me nuts. This guy said Microsoft was buying every publisher and developer except Activision.
So I'm just trying to point out who I'm getting this from. Okay, thank you. So he was pointing out
I make more
that,
educated guesses than Jeff Grubb. Don't care. I'm
that's
not going to
probably
argue
true.
the point.
So somebody was reporting that Sony had a showcase planned for September of last year, but the studios weren't ready. So instead of forcing them to do a vertical slice or something like that, something that they weren't ready for, they just said, you know what, fine. How much
Yeah,
time
because
you
they don't
need?
want to. They don't want to get out a bunch of CGI videos, and people are like, "Well, what the hell is the game about? What's the gameplay look like?" It's going to rise more questions.
Right.
Well, why the hell did you even waste my time? It's like the Xbox show 2020 was really cool, but I still don't know none of that shit look like.
But
The fuck?
it's those realistic expectations that no. We're with the PlayStation brand now. We don't have to push these games out super fast. Our fan base knows that if we have to delay it, it's for a damn good reason. So fine, cool. It's not like Starfield that's been delayed a year and a half, given two separate release. No, I'm sorry, given a release date and a release
You know what's
window.
funny? I was 2 months after that. I said 2 years ago that game ain't coming out till holiday 2023. I said November specifically though, so I'll take the L.
I'll take the L. And here's the deal. I hope Starfield releases. I really do. I'm as tired of hearing about Starfield as I am about hearing about the ABK deal. But, like, Square Enix needs that kind of realistic expectation. And realistic expectation also with regard to their video games. With regard to, like, how much
I
is
don't
the
know
game
what
supposed to
Octopath
sell?
Traveler, right? Yeah, it's like, oh, this game sold 5 million. We took an L. It's like, how many did you expect in the first?
Like, Guardians of the Galaxy is a damn good example, okay? Guardians of the Galaxy actually sold okay. Like, it was a brand new IP.
Okay, that game did, because you have to pay the licensing for that too. So if that game didn't probably sell at least 7 million, it probably didn't make money because they probably get like a. And it didn't, but that was Avengers' fault. I'll argue with anybody all day on that because that's why I didn't buy it day one. I got that shit on sale. I should have bought Avengers on sale just to play the story because the multiplayer was just repetitive and boring. But the single player or the Guardians of the Galaxy, I underpaid for that. That was fantastic.
Like,
I overpaid on the underpaid and underpaid on the overpaid.
What you said, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm confusing everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone. We have 7, 6, 8, whatever. We have some people in here, but they're not confused. They're fine. So that's the other thing. They need to add that level of expectation. Like, hey, listen, you're not able to use the likenesses from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's an L. You're not able. It's going to be about a 12-hour game. That's an L. You're coming off of another Marvel property that y'all screwed up. So that's an L. Like, this game, if it sells 4 million copies, that's a victory and will deserve a sequel. And instead, Square said, nah, the game sucked. It didn't do well. Like, what? You said the same thing about the last Tomb Raider game, and it was probably one of my favorite games. Was it short? Yeah.
The last one did not do good.
No, it didn't, but it did.
It sold like 3 million compared to the first one sold 10, the second one sold 7. So the first one made bank for sure, especially back then because the development costs were a lot less. The second one made a large amount of money, and the third one probably took an L and lost money because it only sold 3 million, and that was like including sales and.
Here you go. This is from Game Reactor UK, okay?
Okay.
It's just sales numbers, and it is from an article from 2017. Rise of the Tomb Raider, okay? sold 7 million copies as of that.
That's what I just said. Rise is the second one. I said 10-7-3.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the last one? Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
Shadow, yes.
I thought Rise was the last one.
No, Rise was the second one. Rise was excellent. Shadow sucked. It didn't suck. It was good, but it wasn't as good as the other two. For me, it was Rise, 2013, Shadow.
Okay, so
Rise
Shadow...
was my favorite. Shadow only did like 3 million. And I know the second Tomb Raider, I don't think they ever reported the budget, but the second Tomb Raider, they took that $100 million deal or whatever from Xbox, and that paid for like almost their whole development. So
okay,
it was like they gave them $100 million. I think the cost on it was around 130.
okay,
it was very expensive to make.
It got off to a slow start initially. Listen to this. These are sales numbers. As of December 2021, Shadow of the Tomb Raider has sold 8.9 million copies.
20 what? Well, yeah, but I bought it for $5.
Who? Oh, no, we're not doing that shit. There are 8.9 million people who have played your game and bought it for some sort of monetary exchange. It doesn't matter to me, like, what they purchased it for. Because if that's the case, I'll make that same case against Horizon Zero Dawn. Because Zero Dawn didn't sell super well when it first came out. But once it started hitting sales, it started going nuts. And all of a sudden, everybody was talking about Zero Dawn. Everyone was talking about, hey, this game is on sale for $25 or $14 or, like, no. And then it got its sequel. Like,
my kitty came to see me.
I can't believe that Square can look at games like that have sold well and go, nah, it didn't meet expectations. Well, what the
Yo, they took such a big L, dude. They sold the Tomb Raider, all those studios for $400 million, and they turned around and sold the rights to Tomb Raider alone for double what they paid for all of it. Yeah. And all the IP.
And now we're gonna get another Tomb Raider. We're about to get another Deus Ex. We're about to get, like, there are so many fucking IPs that they sold because, oh, they didn't meet expectation. Lower your expectation or set, once again, back to what I was saying, set realistic goals and realistic expectations. But the problem is they release so many shit titles that they need every game, every triple
every big game to carry everything else.
Yeah, they need every big game to carry everything else, and when it doesn't, oh, it didn't hit expectations. No, y'all are just bad at managing your studios, like, and you got to get better. And so that...
Yeah, that's great. Instead of having one of these outside teams that work on, like, one of their titles, like their Switch exclusives, team them up with one of the smaller games that you're doing in-house and have them co-develop a bigger game or a more well-developed game.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
Man, I absolutely agree. And the third thing I think that would happen is, you know, the talent from Square will be able to get direct access to the talent from PlayStation Studios, right? So, like, let's talk about some of the things that Square does well. Combat. Every single one of their games is really awesome with combat, traversal, burst effects, bloom effects. Like, they do such a good job with combat effects. And
yeah, that's why I kept playing Valkyrie. It wasn't because the story was so compelling. It was because the gameplay was really fun.
No, the story is not compelling at all. It's you work for Odin and you go to these different areas and complete missions for Odin. And that's about what I know about the story. Oh, and you get to use other people eventually, and you get to cast magic, which, yay. Like, the combat is great. The burst effects are gorgeous. But the world is so dull. So, like, what does Sony do well, right? Sony can build beautiful worlds. Gorgeous worlds. Amazing structures. Amazing set pieces. And so, you'll have direct access to the studios and talents at PlayStation, which is worth every penny of whatever purchase you get out of the deal. Like, that is, in my opinion, the three things that Square gets out of this if Sony purchases them. They get stability, they get realistic expectations, and they get that access to talent, like direct access. So, what does Sony get, right? Because people have made the claim several times on several different streams talking about several things that Sony doesn't need to purchase them. They already have exclusive deals. But what do they get when they purchase Square? They get Squaresoft's entire library. They get access to Nintendo's player base now. And now they get to make money off of Nintendo's player base, because if Sony purchases Square, I think one of the things that needs to stay is Sony needs to let Nintendo keep getting the Square Enix titles that Square Enix likes to put over there, right? And then they're making money off of another 150 to 180 million players.
Will Nintendo allow that, though? Because, let me tell you, they and Sony don't get along too good, because Sony exists because of Nintendo pissing off Sony. Like, let's just keep it a buck. They did. That's how they were created.
I know. I'm well aware of it. That was the PlayStation was never supposed to exist because Nintendo was.
No, it was supposed to be a partnership with Nintendo, and then they ended up going with. What the hell's the name of that? Philips, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And they were like, "This is war."
And then Sony said,
"I will bury Nintendo to the depths of the earth."
But I think they would if, as long as the tentpole titles, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, as long as those titles stayed with the mainline series being on PlayStation. I think they would let it pass at that. Because then they're making money hand over fist. The second thing, speaking of that, the second thing is it's more money from the sales of games. So right now, PlayStation probably gets 20%, right? The average is 30, let's say, because they have deals that they do with, Square, that it's 20% from Square games, right? Instead of that, they now get 100% of the sale. And we've talked about it already. Final Fantasy 15 sold 10 million. Kingdom Hearts 3 sold 6.7. Final Fantasy 7 sold 5.7 as of 2020, and projected possibly to have hit between that number and 8 million. Like, that's just 3 games. Can you imagine $60 for each one of those games going into Sony's pocket at that point? That is a big ad. And it's not something you have to do a lot of work for. Like, it's an easy buy. It's not like, so let's, the ABK
No,
deal, right?
You know what? If they were going to buy a publisher, I said this 2 years ago, don't make me pay the tapes, or go find the tapes, because it'll take me goddamn a week. And I don't want to listen to all those old podcasts I've been on again. I said 2 years ago, because we were talking about this, and I said, I don't think they should go Square Enix, because Square Enix is not very healthy right now. What is healthy, Capcom is on the rise. Everything they're putting out has been quality since they turned stuff around in 2015. They've just been hitting a home run. And at that time, Square Enix, that's not the purchase price, their value was at like $6.7 billion. And Capcom was at $4.2 billion. Now, Capcom's value is at $6.7 billion, and Square Enix is at like 4.2. So if you would have bought Square at that time, yes, exactly. Like they've lost 40% of value, and Capcom has gained 40% value in the last 2 years. So I'm not saying I'm a financial advisor, but damn it, if they would have bought then, they were already made $2 billion. Or they also almost doubled their, or got 50% of their investment back in value already of what they just purchased.
Yeah, but what you're not looking at is if they bought them, and we all know that when studios buy each other, the games going forward do go exclusive. Like, let's not act like that's not a thing.
Yeah, and they sell so well on Xbox that we would have noticed the 25 copies on Xbox that didn't sell.
I was gonna say PC, but sure.
Oh, they go to PC. That ain't gonna stop.
I mean, so here's my problem with
They're
Capcom.
putting their own stuff on there.
And here's where my bias comes in, Capcom versus Square Enix. I absolutely do not like playing, like, scary games, like Resident Evil, stuff like that.
That's a you problem. I am a Capcom. Capcom is my second favorite publisher.
So
Whatever they make, I buy. No question asked.
So here's the deal. I got two buddies of mine that play Resident Evil like crazy. Love them. There's a dude
Let me
right
get their
now.
number. Let's play. I want to got to beat 5 yet. I had 2 people quit on me. I'm not starting. I need someone dedicated. I'm not starting that goddamn game over. That's the only main line I haven't beaten.
5?
Yes.
That's the only main line I did beat.
Yeah, well.
Oh,
I
that's not
started
true.
twice and got like halfway through the game with 2 different people. And I'm like,
Was
We're not doing this again.
RE2 on the 64?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Oh no, not 64. Was it on the GameCube?
No.
Okay. Which one's the
4
one?
was.
Was that the one where you play as Leon and the little girl follows you around and pisses you off the whole time? Because she doesn't go where you want her to?
Resident Evil 4. It came out on Dreamcast or GameCube first.
Okay.
It came to PlayStation a year later.
Then that's the other one that I've played, and
that is the
really
greatest Resident
enjoyed
Evil
it.
and a top 6 game of mine all time. I just rebeat the. You know how many times I've beaten that game? I don't even want to. Actually, you shouldn't even. It's embarrassing.
So, oh no, you already told me that. So, I just think that it's easier to purchase later. Ray Rock, I'm actually about to hop off too once I get this last thing out, because I finally wound down enough after work.
You know, I'm trophy chasing for the first time in my entire life because I beat Legend of Dragoon. I put 115 hours in it. I look at my trophies, and I'm missing a few Stardust to get the trophy, and that's what I need for the platinum. And it would be my first platinum ever. That's a real platinum because all my other platinums are Telltale games. I have 3 Telltale and you get that for just beating the game. I beat most of my games. I just don't. I'm going out of my way. All I'm doing is collecting little gems in towns.
So
it's just travel time that's taking me a long time.
I
But I want that damn platinum after that many hours.
I don't.
Especially if I'm just collecting items.
I
don't either. But for this one, it's different. I've never done it before.
I have God of War Ragnarok. I gotta get off. God of War Ragnarok is my only platinum, and it's because it wasn't stupid difficult, right? They didn't have.
This wasn't either. I just beat the game, and I'm 1 away. I could have platinumed it already, but I wasn't looking for Stardust because I didn't know what the hell they did anyways.
Man. So those are my thoughts, though, on getting the on Square. I think that it's an easier purchase. I think that Square has made themselves super attractive to Sony. I think that if they purchase them, that's going to be an easy way for them to get out of the whole Congress investigating them for bullshit just to get the Microsoft deal to go through and all that crap.
Well, once this Microsoft deal goes through, you can't say no to anyone anymore for anything.
No, you won't be able to. And
no, you can't.
I love.
I can't buy. I'm trying to think of a reasonable publisher, 505 Games or something like that. Like you all just let them buy the biggest third party on the planet. How are you gonna tell them no?
Yeah, and what sucks is, here's what I hate. So there are, Twitter doesn't represent Xbox players as a whole, and I understand that. You have some players from Xbox who are bringing up that now, once this deal goes through, How's it gonna feel to play Diablo 4 knowing it's an Xbox Studio now, and you're playing an Xbox game? No, you dumb
What?
shit. You're not playing an Xbox game. That was not. Y'all did nothing for that game. Y'all didn't co-develop it. You didn't give your input. Your studios didn't help on it because your studios couldn't help fight their way out of a wet paper sack. Like, you don't have that ability to sit and try to claim these games as your own. They may be a part of your library now, and you may have inherited their library. Wonderful. But Diablo, Call of Duty, those are
Diablo
not...
been around before Xbox. Come on.
Diablo was around before PlayStation.
Was it?
Well,
What year did that come out? No, I don't think so. That came out in like
1996.
'95. Okay, that's not before PlayStation then.
The PS1 came out in 97.
PS1 came out in '94.
In...
In Japan, it came out in like '95 in US. Don't test me.
I'm checking your ass right now.
All right, go for it.
God dang, not the... I don't want to know about the stupid PS1. Shut up. Okay, and 9 months later, well, tickle my pickle and call me Frank. Good lord. The PlayStation was released on December 3rd, 1994 in Japan, and 9 months later in America. Diablo 1 release date. I love
I knew it was
Google.
before '97 because I had a PS1 in '96.
Okay. I didn't get mine till 1996. Let's say that. The I'm still rocking.
PlayStation didn't exist until I had one. That's the rule.
That's right. That's right, damn it. No. So like Diablo 1 has been out since 1996. Okay? Like, let's just understand that. Like, this is not something that they are like inventing or, ooh, look at how cool we are. We've done. Shut up. They did all the work. When did PS2 release? Wasn't it 2000?
2000. 2000.
It was 2000?
Yep.
So
Check me.
wait, they released the PS1 the same stinking year they released the PS2?
2000.
No. Listen to what I said. The PS1, that little white shitty ass console. The little tiny white one that you could have like the detachable screen on.
Possibly. I don't remember what year that came out, to be honest. So.
Well, I just looked it up. It came out in 2000. That's why I didn't realize that the PS2 came out.
They could probably make it for pretty cheap, so they probably sold it at like a. That was like a car console. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was only like $100. It was on.
I think it was. Yeah.
July 7th.
If you were to make a
2000.
PS2 like that, it would have been even more expensive, probably. So.
Yeah.
I thought about buying one of those too, to be honest.
It was the highest selling console through the end of the year, outselling other consoles. Holy crap. That
What?
little tiny PS1 outsold in the first year, at least, outsold PlayStation 2.
Well, it was only out for like a month.
Oh, that's true. Because it released in holiday.
Yep.
That makes sense. Man, that's why I hate statistics and stuff like that. Because, like, there's a comedian who is like, so every, like, 33% of all babies born are Asian. He goes, if you can manipulate statistics like that, then I have 3
Xbox
kids.
are pros, dude. It's like, well,
goes-
20
like-
million people downloaded our game. Like, okay, how many played it? For
20
more than an
people
hour.
downloaded it.
Well, yeah, it's free. I download every free game. I don't play a lot of them. It's free.
About
You
the
know what I
same.
mean? There's a lot of them I never even booted up. I downloaded them and I was like, I'll try it later.
But yeah, hey, we had some activity in the chat. Let me go back here and shout this guy out. Who was it? Byron Cutler.
2000.
What's up, man?
It was 2000.
Nice Goku
Holiday
image.
2000. And 2001 was like one of the best years ever, dude. There was like, oh man, I can't remember all the games, but 2001 holiday season, like within the first year of, you had Metal Gear Solid 2 and like Final Fantasy 10. It was just amazing. Or was it Final Fantasy 10? There was a lot of games out that holiday season, though.
That's the problem, though, man. Like, everyone like wants to ask, so what was your favorite game on this console? What was your favorite game on that console? I don't remember. There were so many. Like, I lived a week, like Dominic Toretto, I lived a weekend at a time. Like, I lived my life a weekend at a time because on Friday after school, my parents would take me to the video game rental store. I would rent a game for the entire weekend and I would play that game. And that's what I freaking did. And so I tried.
Yo, my
so
neighbor
many
was an
titles.
only child, and I'm not gonna lie, he was a little weird shit. But you know what? And I was a jock, and nobody picked on that kid in the bus because that kid was my rental store. Like, I would beat up anybody who picked on that kid because that kid was my JRPG library. Like, because I didn't get all those games. I wasn't spoiled like that. But he was an only child, so like, yo, let me get that Xenogears. I'll borrow you Final Fantasy. I already have Final Fantasy 7. I'm borrowing it anyways.
So, can anybody see this, like, on the screen? Whoever is actually, like, watching. I know some people like to listen to live streams. But, like, the pop-in on this game has to be set to, like, 20 feet. It's so terrible. Like, the pop-in is so bad. Like, the textures for the rocks on that little pile in the background, like, they pop up. Oh my god, and then they just went away. Look at that. Look how close I had to get. This is that bullshit. This is that stuff I'm talking about. Like, an extra month of polish and this game would have not had that.
Well, it's been over a month and it still ain't fixed, so.
Well, shut up. Don't talk bad about my freaking Square Enix title.
They do it for themselves.
They really do. And you know, it's sad because I love Square Enix. I really do. I think that they have the potential to make wonderful games. Live Alive, I can't wait for that to come out on the PlayStation.
You know, that looks... I'm going to say that's a really good game. I'm just not as much into that style of game, like the Final Fantasy Tactics. Even though I like the game, that's probably the only... What do you call them? Like, real-time strategy type games?
What?
What do you call them? Like the Final Fantasy Tactics, what do you consider those games? What are those
they're
called?
Just RTS, real-time strategy. Yeah.
RTS, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm not big into RTS. Like, Tactics is the only RTS I've ever finished.
I'm not big into them either. As a matter of fact, I can't stand them. I just... Oh, you little whore. I can't say that, can I? Whoops.
You're not monetized. What are they going to do?
That's true.
I guess in 10 years they might look back and be like, you swore 10 years ago 72 times, you're done. Off this platform. You called someone a whore.
I could always just thrash and just say fuck it. Just like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I was like, okay. Tell us how you really feel. I love it though. I actually like his stuff, man. He's
That's
funny.
you know he's the reason I got into YouTube. Cause I was like, oh my god, someone does research. Like, it was my mind was blown, dude. I'm like, this guy actually knows what he's talking about.
And he has receipts. Like,
yeah.
But no, I like King Thrash. I actually found him.
He's the reason I'm on podcast right now. Put it that way.
Well, he did a guest spot on the Saltiest Gaming Pod, and that's where I found him. That's also where I found...
Have you watched his documentaries and stuff?
Dude, they're so good.
They're so amazing.
They are... Like, even the This Is PlayStation one was really good.
Did you ever watch the Xbox documentary one? That's the best.
Was that the 2-part one or the 3-part one?
3-part. It was 3-part.
Yeah.
Because I've listened to it like 12 times.
It's so...
Because I was watching this happen and I was like...
And...
Yep.
You can tell when he when he's trying to not get a video demonetized, because like he'll have to stop himself 15 times. So I can't say that. But no, he's really good. But I don't even know how we got onto him.
Daydreams.
Um,
I'll talk about the flowers for a couple of hours.
but like, so I mean, there's things that Square Enix does that make me scratch my head. Like, but then everybody points out, well, yeah, but they also do really well in their 2D HDs. They do, yeah. Square Enix can tell a fucking story. Like, let's let's give them credit where credit is due. There is not a game that Square Enix has made where their soundtrack is shit. There's not a game that they've ever made where the combat is just awful. They've never had that type of title, ever. Now they have had some that look like they're PS3 games running on a PS5, but like Valkyrie Elysium, this looks like a PS3 early PS4 title. Now it's at 60 frames per second in a full whopping 4K native because my TV can tell me that crap. Where do I go? What happened? Oh, there we go. My character was having a moment.
Daydreams. Talk about the flowers for a couple of hours.
But like, anyways, that's the show tonight, guys. I'm about to hop off here once I can beat this thing. I'm planning on just chatting for a little bit longer, but that's the show. Hey, Nels, what do you like? Do you have anything that struck you as interesting in the week of gaming that was?
I purchased a new game that caught my attention, and I'm going to be playing with my kids once I get this stuff wrapped up. I think it looks really, really.
Oh, where'd you go?
You know what? Let me get back to you on that because I want to try the game first. But it's $20. It's like a fighter. You can play multiplayer with couch co-op and stuff. It's called Curse of the Sea Rats.
Oh,
and I'm going to be checking that out. Probably it's on everything.
Oh.
Check it out in the store. It's brand new. Curse of the Sea Rats. Look it up right now. I think it looks super fun. I want to play it with my kids.
I don't know if I try to look it up if I can keep streaming. Hang on. No, it tells me mic audio only. So I'm gonna hop back into the game. Yeah, they need to fix that. But so this is fucked up. Look at this. You can't see it, but hang on. Let me get here. I am playing currently Valkyrie Elysium, Sackboy. I re-downloaded God of War because of New Game Plus.
Stuck on that game, and I didn't feel like looking it up.
It is super fun, and my kid loves it, and I think it is a wonderful platformer. I am actually really kind of ticked off at myself that I didn't purchase it like I wanted to when I first got my PS5.
I bought it on sale for $30, I think, but it was like 6 months after.
Hey, I gotta go.
Oh, yeah, you do.
My kid just woke up.
Okay.
All right,
have a good night. Check out Curse of the Sea Rats tomorrow morning or something.
All right, everyone. It's been a great night. Nelson, sorry. Thanks for stopping by. Everybody in the chat, y'all were wonderful. This is going to stay up on my page. And yeah, join me next time for Thoughts with Thrifty.